Hey guys, so here's one of the biggest mistakes high liability professionals make, like surgeons, real estate investors, business owners, is letting tax advice turn into legal advice or prioritizing tax over legal liability, particularly when you're talking about asset protection. We need to remember that asset protection is not tax mitigation and it's not tax planning. And this is important because one bad piece of advice from the wrong professional can wipe out everything. Your CPA's job is what? It's taxes, how to pay your taxes, how to mitigate your taxes. Your attorney's job is lawsuits, liability, and legal structures, the law. The two don't really mix, just like oil and water. Like they're going to bump heads at time. And when it comes to legal risk and liability and lawsuits, sometimes maximum tax advantages might have to take a little back seat or an adjustment when we're trying to create asset protection structures to avoid loss from lawsuits and legal attacks. Think of your CPA as a pilot flying you towards maximum tax efficiency. And think of your attorney as the air traffic controller, keeping you from colliding with lawsuits, judgments, and legal traps that can take everything from you. Both are really important, but both are serving completely different roles. In California, this matters even more. We got case law like Kilker versus Steelman and Curci Investments versus Baldwin, which shows and proves that if you're purely domestic creditors are going to win. Kilker also says that you can't just run off to an out-of-state area like Nevada or Wyoming for a trust or an out-of-state LLC like in Wyoming because California won't honor it. And with no domestic asset protection trust statutes in California, your options are extremely limited. And the same problem exists for other states like in New York. Courts follow the internal affairs doctrine. In Florida, we have the famous Olmstead case and Monette versus Brown. And in Texas, you have In re versus Blount. And in Illinois, we have Rush University Medical Center versus Sessions. And no CPA is going to be educated and versed in the case law. That's not their job. Their job is taxes. And an S corp, for example, are great tools for taxes, but they're very weak for asset protection. Why is this? Because shares can be seized and frozen. Future distributions can be attacked, meaning anytime you take a distribution, it's going to go to the creditor. I've seen surgeons who thought their S Corp was safe. They were told this by their CPA, only to have the courts freeze the shares and direct every future distribution to a creditor. Just really bad advice from the CPA, and the clients ignored the attorney and just completely lost everything. And your risk isn't just the business, right? As an employer, you can be hit with discrimination and harassment claims, wage and hour claims, class action lawsuits. So if you own the building you're operating from, that's another target. And then you also have your personal portfolio, stocks, bond, cryptocurrencies, high liability from rental properties, even your personal home. And suddenly the blast radius includes your entire net worth, which one big lawsuit can completely wipe out everything, your business, your portfolio, your rentals, even your home is completely gone. So CPAs are excellent at what they do for tax mitigation and filing taxes, but they are not good at, let's say, offshore and hybrid asset protection legal strategies and structures that are legally designed to protect your assets from lawsuits. That's way outside their lane. They're not educated on researching and evaluating court precedent or asset protection, jurisdictional case law and litigation. Just like your attorney, unless they're a tax law attorney, is not going to be giving you tax advice. The goal isn't for you to choose who you trust more. The goal is to let each professional do their job. Your CPA maximizes tax efficiency. Your attorney builds the legal structure and the legal firewall. And your attorney is your control center, like your point guard on a basketball team or your air traffic controller, to make sure everything stays legal, stays protected, and stays safe and in your favor. Asset protection isn't about trust or long-term standing working relationships. It's about legal structure. If you confuse tax planning with lawsuit defense, you've already lost.